Welcome to the Yale Centre for British Art's online series, Artists in Conversation. I'm Sue Williamson, and it's my great pleasure to welcome artist Lisa Brice to the programme today. Lisa?
Hi, Sue. I just want to say thanks very much to Yale for the invitation and to you for having a conversation with me, and to anyone who's joined to listen. Can't see you, but thanks very much for being here. Thanks, Sue.
So before we begin, I have a few housekeeping notes. Please note that this program will be recorded. Your camera and sound are muted and will remain so throughout the program. We'll be using the Q&A feature located on your navigation bar to gather your questions for Lisa, and they will be answered at the end of the program. But in the meantime, please feel free to submit your questions. If you would like closed captioning, a live transcript is available by clicking the icon on your navigation bar. Yale University acknowledges that Indigenous people and nations, including Mohegan, Mashantucket, Pequot, Eastern Pequot, Scaticoke, Golden Hill, Pogoset, Niantic, and the Quinnipiac and other Algonquin-speaking people, have stewarded through generations the land and waterways of what is now the state of Connecticut. We honor and respect this enduring relationship that exists between these people and nations and this land. And to say a little bit about Lisa before we start. Lisa Brice was born in South Africa and she now lives and works in London. Through her figurative painting practice, she challenges traditional representations of women in Western art history, reclaiming the female nude from a male gaze that seeks to disempower women as passive objects of desire. In individual and group portraits set in studios and bars, Brice's women are liberated from the roles of model or muse. They're shown interchangeably brandishing their paintbrushes as they capture their own likenesses and those of their companions. Or they pose in front of mirrors and lounge against doors as they smoke cigarettes, breaking down hierarchies between the artist and the model. Whether confronting viewers with a direct gaze or seemingly unaware of their presence, these women are fully empowered, driven by their own desires rather than by those of the spectators. These are the works that have been increasingly lauded by critics in recent years, but in the past, Brice has also worked and experimented with printmaking, installation, constructed and mixed media works, and today we're going to be looking at how these works led up to her present practice and track her career from its earliest days until now. So if we look at the first slide, I first met Lisa when she came to my studio on Saturday mornings as a 15-year-old schoolgirl to learn the printmaking technique of etching. She was an outstanding student, and after matric, she went to study for a bachelor's degree at the Michaelis School of Fine Art at the University of Cape Town. And during and after university, she became my assistant at the studio, printing my etching plates. And later we taught printmaking together at a small school. This first image is a little work that Lisa made in her second year, a 4-color screen print. The restrained and subtle use of color which marks her recent paintings is already evident, and the subject is herself as a child gazing over a pond. Lisa?
Yeah, it's really interesting to see this work again. I'd actually forgotten about it. It was a detail actually of a larger piece, but reminds me of my early printmaking practice and being at Michaelis. I actually was, thanks to you, quite accomplished by the time I got there in printmaking. So I felt I was doing painting as well. Well, I was trying, initially sculpture and all sorts of things as you do at art school, but I found that printmaking was quite limiting, and I wanted to experiment with painting. So I ended up majoring in painting. But printmaking still kind of continued to come in and out of the work, even though the works were paintings in different ways. And yeah, so Michaelis, if I think back at that work, there was lots of experimenting going on with painting on different surfaces and trying out different materials, mostly house paints and spray paint and unconventional materials. I wasn't painting in oil and linen. anyway, when I'd finished art school, I'm going to go take you to the next slide. I did a trip to London and then to Thailand, and in Bangkok, exploring Bangkok, as many tourists do, ended up on Koh Sang Road, and went into one of the many bars, and was just totally shocked by what I saw in there. I just wasn't prepared for anything like that. It was just the scale of it and this sort of freak show nature of it at the age of the girls and boys, actually, and just this sort of like massive, just waves and waves of tourists, male tourists, and I was the only girl in the bar, I remember, who wasn't working. Anyway, it left a huge impression on me, and when I came back to London, when I came back to sorry, Cape Town, I used what I'd seen there as material for my first show outside art school. And this was the first painting I made, which was very much in the vein of what I'd been doing at Michaelis, quite an expressionistic style. I would have been looking at works and books I didn't really have access to, well, museums, but I would have seen things in books, probably looking at George Grosz, and quite taken with pop art too, and the use of materials using real objects. And this is a view in my studio of a work called Bar Games underway, which will come up again later in the talk. And I'd started with this work. I wanted the experience to be as real as possible for the audience, and to use the actual materials that I'd seen there, and real objects. There's a dartboard and cigarettes and ashtrays, and for it kind of influenced by the bar signage. And I wanted the work to really kind of pop out into the space and be as confronting as possible. It was very conservative in South Africa at that time. I mean, that's partly why I would have found the experience so shocking as well, because it's not something, growing up under the apartheid government was oppressive in all sorts of ways, including there was any kind of explicit material or everything was controlled and censored and banned, and there was, so even though it was 1990, Mandela had been released and the ANC was unbanned and things were underway change, it wouldn't be until 2 years later that one could actually, everything would open up again. It was the new constitution. So I had to get my studio mate to pose in the meantime. This is a drawing that I made. So I would make a large drawing like this, cut it up, and then use the drawing as a maquette for cutting works out of masonite, and then, as you can see, using this different kind of paraphernalia from bars. This was, perhaps you can say something about this too, because this was this was shown, the body of work was shown at the Irma Stern.
Yes. So this was Lisa's first post-student show, and it was an absolute revelation. I mean, the work was so strong. The subject of the sexual exploitation of women was so powerful. Lisa's mother was so worried about what the family would think that she told them all not to come to the opening because the show had been cancelled. But luckily, the show attracted the attention of two German gallerists, Frank and Ellen Haenel, who happened to be visiting South Africa. They were gallerists who had a very good gallery in Germany. They were showing artists like Penck and Baselitz, and they bought the whole show, in fact, every single thing, which was almost unknown for a student show, a post-student show. And they invited Lisa to go to Germany, and she went there for 3 months and produced a whole show, which was called Sex Kittens. And these two works that we're looking at now are two of the works on that show, in which Lisa has, again, used this technique of drawing her figures onto hardboard, cutting them out. And in this case, the surfaces have been covered with different kinds of images. Lisa?
So I was using the foil before, say, on the one on the left was titled Faki Faki, Sex Kitten Faki Faki, using the truncated language and stuff that I'd seen in the bars. And it was the idea that the audience would be reflected in her image, and it's sort of confronted in that sense. And then it's a more literal version on the right hand side, where you see these men at the end of the bar kind of leering at her. She's calling on the bar towards them. You see the signage behind. It was a kind of, I was used to always work from photographic material, so it's something that whether I was drawing from it or whether I ended up using it as a collage. But then with these works, there were 9 of them in a row on the show, so it was like this sort of repeated motif and these different ideas on each surface, and they come with sort of like an army of sex kittens. And there was genital herpes under the microscope, and syphilis, and AIDS, and money as well. And it was all done with thanks to you again, Sue, because you'd done a residency at the National Gallery and got sponsored a laser copier, which was just this, incredible quality. And we were just so taken with it. I was working with you at the time, and so we were just doing loads of playing around with these multi-page enlargements that you could do, and so this sort of wallpaper effect that you could, and it was a form of printmaking, really, and the quality was so extraordinary. They were like these sort of oily prints with the almost raised. They were really kind of pretty special. And word of it actually got out, must have got out, and there was some sort of local crime boss who must have got wind of it, decided he wanted to print counterfeit money and send some of his henchmen to hold you up at gunpoint to steal the laser copier, which is like something out of a film. Luckily, no one was hurt, but you did lose the copier.
Lost the copier.
Yeah. This is another one looking at the roles that women are expected to play. And again, using the laser copier on a kind of gold plastic. Just see what's next. It was interesting to me looking back at this work, because I realized that what I'd done with this piece, which was shown in Berlin at the, I forget the name of the museum,
Colours at the Hostikal de Welt.
Yeah, that's right. And I'd used all of the different figures, or like kind of motifs that I'd used in different works individually. You can see the girls fucky in the middle, and the bar games to the left, and the sex kitten, and there were others that I'd made other works with, and combine them in this one work so that they were in conversation with one another, and which is something that I've done recently, but it sort of hadn't occurred to me how similar the process had been, and also in a limited palette, interestingly. But
yes, I think it's interesting that it's only, as Lisa says, now that she looks back on it, she realizes that this was a forerunner in a way in her use of figures to make a complex composition, which is something that has come up in much more recent work.
Yeah.
And this is another very different sort of image of women. And this one was made in 1995, and it's now South Africa's had its first democratic election, but the country was quite unsettled, and there were many stories of crime in the press. And this work, which Lisa has called "What is a Home Without an Armed Mother," shows a woman in a very different situation to her sex kittens. This one is very large, actually. It's larger than life size. It's about the same size as the sex kittens works. But this woman is dressed in an overall, a worker's overall. She's kneeling down, cleaning the floor. But in her belt on the side, you'll see that there's a gun tucked into her waist. And then Lisa's taken a very sentimental disc, which appears in many houses. What is a home without a mother? And she's put in the word "an armed." What is a home without an armed mother? So commenting on the kind of sense of insecurity that many people had at that time.
Yeah, it's a sort of playful nod in a way to the multitasking required by women in terms of the roles they were expected to fulfill in society, sort of, carrying on from that last sex kitten as well. But also on a more serious note, the South Africa had at that time, and still does, I believe, one of the highest rates of violence against women. I think the last time I checked, a woman was raped every 2 minutes and so on. So, you know, there's that serious side to the work as well, of course. And this is...
Yeah, this is a work that dates from 1997. It was the second time of the second Johannesburg Biennale. And the image on the left is the visitors block in Robben Island in Cape Town, just off the coast of Cape Town, actually. And it was the political prison where Nelson Mandela had been incarcerated for so many years. And after the democratic election, it was decided that it wouldn't be a prison any longer. In fact, it would be a museum. It would remain always as a reminder of what apartheid had been to the nation. And we were invited to do the first exhibition in this museum, and we chose the space of the visitors block. And as you can see, we're looking here at the visitor side of it. Visitors would file in. They had 30 minutes to speak to the prisoner through that small glass pane of glass on the left-hand side. And this is Lisa's work on the right. And Lisa, would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I was just going to say that, yeah, whether there's sort of threads of gender issue, women, domesticity, violence, stuff that run through my practice, every now and then there's a divergence from that, such as this show, when this space is so significant that one has to respond to it, you know, in obviously in a totally different way. And this being one of the most potent spaces that I've ever shown in, of course. And yeah, so I was looking at what one had to work with was, as Sue said, just that small screen where one would have seen a head. So I was thinking of some sort of a head on the other side. And the prison is most famous for Mandela, having been imprisoned there. So I had decided that I wanted to try and fill in the 27 years of missing images, because there's one last image of there was an image of Mandela before, during the treason trial when he was arrested and incarcerated, and then an image when he was released. And there almost sort of no images exist in between, except perhaps one that was smuggled out. I'm not sure. And so I went to see the police, and we kind of befriended the identikit guy, because I was thinking that the language of identikits is, for missing people, for criminals, and for terrorists, as Mandela was labeled all of those years. And I asked them I sort of asked if he would create these identikits, sort of bribed him with chocolate cake, and eventually he agreed to do it. And he used there were two different techniques. There was one with layers of acetate, and that one would, layer together of noses and eyes and stuff if you were dealing with trying to build up an identikit with somebody. And then there was a sort of quite rudimentary computer program. Anyway, these were the images that he came up with, and they were I again used the laser copier to create a drum of acetate and on a wooden disc. And I got my father made me a rotisserie, a little engine to turn this disc out of a rotisserie motor from an oven. And anyway, it was all kind of working well, and was sort of turning around, and as it came against the screen, it would come into focus and then go out of focus and have this sort of watery feel to it and all. And then came the opening, and all the dignitaries were there, and there was a sort of big buffet lunch and everything, and my thing broke down just before the show opened, and I had to spend the whole of the opening lying underneath my work and turning it by hand. And eventually a friend came and brought me some food, and I'd nodded off apparently to wake up and sort of make the piece work again. So it was successful in some ways, not in others. But
well, it was a great idea, Lisa.
Thanks, Sue.
And actually, talking about Nelson Mandela, it was his 80th birthday the next year that actually took you to London, because you were invited to present works at the Royal Festival Hall about Mandela, and you also were offered a residency at the Gasworks residency in London. And so you went. And in the end, you stayed. And the exciting thing about London for you was that it really opened up all those avenues, the museums, the galleries, the artists, and you began to look at painting in a new way and felt that it had a kind of a relevancy that you hadn't really felt in South Africa. And it began this long conversation that you have with the past, relatively recent, and the art historical paintings.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually jump forward quite a long way, because we're going to jump right to 2014. And it took that long for you to get your first solo show in London, strangely enough, having been so successful in Germany. But this one,
I think it was also because during my residency at Gasworks, I was invited to Trinidad.
That's right.
Workshop, which you've mentioned, I think, in I don't know.
I don't think I did mention Trinidad. Let's hear about that.
Yeah, so I was invited to do first a workshop in Trinidad with 11 local artists and 11 international, Godfrey Donker and Che Lovelace, Ember. I met then, but also then the following year I was asked to do a residency with Annie Miller and Chris Ofili and Peter Doig. And for the next 10 years, I was sort of incredibly taken with Trinidad. It had a huge impact on me, and I spent sort of the following 10 years traveling between Trinidad and London and visiting South Africa's locals. But it was, sort of peripatetic lifestyle and quite sort of, it was incredibly inspiring, but quite disruptive, of course, if you're moving around that much. And so, yeah, it was only when I sort of settled in London in 2010, 2011, that I really sort of got a more settled studio practice and then began showing in London. So, yeah, that's how, I guess, why it took so long too. It was also a strange choice to move to London, because I'd been on, I think, one small group show here, but I'd never really shown here. I was unknown, I was more established in South Africa and Germany, elsewhere, but it was, London was an odd choice. It was a bit like starting all over again. Anyway, so this was shall I tell you about this, or?
Yes, I was lucky enough to be in London at the time of Lisa's first show at this little gallery called Grande Riviere, and it was really, we were particularly taken with this work, and we were talking about it, and Lisa was talking about the influences, and I said, well, it's exactly the color of Reckitt's blue. And I don't know if you all know what Reckitt's blue is, being American, but it's a little cube of blue, which is always wrapped in blue and white paper that people put in that women used to put in their laundry to make the whites really blue. And then it turned out that Lisa knew a lot about it, actually.
Yeah, from Trinidad. So, I mean, it's something that, as you said, we had in South Africa, but obviously Trinidad, British colonies, and it's used there to create a blue coating for one of the carnival characters, one of the sort of traditional carnival characters called Blue Devil, and it's a sort of formidable character, and it's so people who are playing, as it's called, playing mass, are coated in blue paint, and they're emboldened by that. And they're anonymous, so not accountable for their behavior, just anyway, freed from accountability and preconceptions. So I thought this was I just thought this idea was really interesting, and the woman, I continued making these drawings of women, but not as as if they were playing carnival, but just this idea of of being emboldened by as a kind of, you know, emboldened and fierce and having a lack of accountability. And yeah, so these are come from a variety of reference materials. Some of them are art historical paintings, some are photographs. And I use the drawings to move the reference material into a common language so that there's a sort of coherency and they can be combined together in larger compositions, so that they have, you know, yeah, they, it's almost like they're auditioning to be part of the cast of characters. And if I take to them, and if I take to the character and I like them, they become part of the cast of characters that reoccur in the works, such as in this work. So this is a work that I made for Making and Unmaking, which was a show that Duro Low curated in 2015, 16, actually, 16, sorry.
2016.
Yeah. And it was, yeah, he invited me to be on the show and you know, suggested that if I had a large work, because he was interested in the drawings, but it suggested if I had a large work along those lines that he could accommodate it and in the show. And so it was really that prompted me to try and build something, because that's what it felt like, building this composition, this very complicated composition, placing those single figures in conversation with one another. And it's the first time that I used this figure from Felix Vallotton, which was posed by Aisha Goblet, I think. It's thought, because he painted her before, and she reoccurs in the work as well. This is another like a mirror version with different figures, and including Gertrude Stein, who really sort of dominated the work on the left-hand side. So she ended up kind of losing her head, and I showed it alongside her just as a small work. But also in this work, it was the Vallotton figure, the Aisha figure that was smoking. She was the only one smoking, and I thought, I had this sort of epiphany that if they all had cigarettes, just going back to that one, it would be like they were gathered for some sort of purpose, and into, you know, a break between action, they were gathered in conversation, having a cigarette break, and yeah, just one of those things that made it click in a way for me. The boundary girl is in there. Well, we're going to her later, so, but anyway, it's Olympia, foot and her cat appear. And another way of working with the figure, with the drawings, which I also found another way of making those figures interact with one another, was to exhibit them in a long, closely hung line, which I've done a few times, and it makes for a sort of animates them in a linear fashion, which is, yeah, I found that interesting.
And
too.
it also suggests that they're a community.
Yeah, they're like exactly, in sort of strength in numbers.
Yeah. And then in here, so that now we move on to the boundary plants and the boundary girl. And this was, you've made this work for the show at the Tate Britain, did you not, Lisa? Or did you?
I actually started it. I actually started in Trinidad in 2009 and then finished it in 2017. It evolved quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Shorter, and yeah, so it was around for a while. And yeah, it's called Boundary Girl and Natalie because it's a dedication in a way, more than a portrait, to a friend of mine in Trinidad who yeah, it was just it's sort of a dedication to the defined way she carries herself and negotiates the often challenging machismo of Trinidadian society. I just always really impressed with her, and it was anyway, hence the name. But the boundary plants that that the color comes from for this work is they're planted along the plots of land to demarcate the edges. So that was the significance of them. And then
this one is called, yes, No Bareback After Ember. And Ember, I believe, was a well-known character person in Trinidad. And can you tell us some more about him, Lisa?
Yeah, so this is also kind of a dedication to Ember. He died 2 years prior to this, and you know, he'd been on my mind a lot. He became a very close friend and a kind of mentor in a way. He's an artist, Trinidadian artist, poet, musician, and yeah. Anyway, we had studios next to each other in Trinidad at the studio complex we worked in at CCA7, and sometimes shared a studio actually because there were different studios we had over the years. But we would go and have a drink usually at lunchtime actually, or at the end of the day, at this bar across the road from the studios. It's just loosely based on that bar. And some photographs I'd taken of Ember in the bar, if there was a screen behind him with those sort of advert that had been cut into slits. And on this one, it's featured a stag beer bottle, which is a Trinidadian beer, and which goes by the sort of selling slogan of it, that it's man's beer, but always has sort of scantily clad women selling, advertising beer. Anyway, the art historical references, mayonnaise, plum, brandy, and the Olympia's cat, and a figure based on the posing Nicki Minaj. But all the figures are sort of in conversation as I place them with an entity, or to the right hand side of the painting, which I imagine being Ember. And it's really like there are kind of topics of conversation, like ideas, things that we would have been talking about: art, Trinidadian culture, you know, the state of dress, and yeah, just a variety of subjects. But it also recalls, you know, art historical scenes, bar scenes of women that I've touched on in other works as well. This is, yeah, did you want to say?
This one's called Ophelia.
Yeah, this one's called Ophelia. Sorry, yeah.
And
sorry, Sue.
I was just going to say that this is one of the ones that was shown when you were invited to show at the Tate Britain in 2019, which was a very significant moment in your career, because it was, the Art Now is a very prestigious program that the Tate runs in order to give exposure to new work by emerging artists. And yeah, so this is one of those works.
Yeah,
and you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was, you know, it's an incredible opportunity to be able to show there. And I wanted to respond to the collection, and Miles of Ophelia's was hanging in there kind of 2 rooms along or something. And I took that as a starting point, and I sort of saved her from her drowning in the muddy pond and placed her upright. So it's exactly the same figure, but instead of the water, it has the screen, and she's emerging through the screen with a beer and a cigarette or something.
So she's taken control of her life.
Yeah, and the boundary plants there again. The cat is carrying a rat that was apparently a vole, I think they called it, which was swimming around originally in the painting in the pond. So the cat's got that, but the cat sort of reoccurred since that early reference to Manet's Olympia in the first large blue painting. So, and yeah. So that is that. So moving on from there, I started thinking about, well, discovering really that a lot of the models in these paintings that I'd been looking at were in fact artists themselves, such as Victorine Murat, bad at pronouncing that. But she being an artist in her own right, and she posed for Manet's, Olympia, and several other of his works, Luncheon on the Grass, and a number of them, but was never really taken seriously as an artist herself. In fact, posing nude really kind of did her disservice in a way in terms of being taken seriously. But this image imagines her after hours, still with her necktie on and flower in her hair, and the cat and the slipper in her studio at night. And that idea I went on to kind of develop in different ways. The mirror being a very important aspect of that, because women could then, it was a means of recording themselves in the privacy of their homes, or if they were lucky enough to have studios. But still today, obviously, it's a way of being the author of your own image. And so that's what this work is. These works as well, developing that. These are oil on trace, which is a very useful way of building up compositions as well, because it's a sort of waxy surface, and you can almost make monoprints on and get a mirror image, and you can kind of move them around on top of each other and get a sense of how they interact with one another when building the big compositions, such as this one. This, you were also at this show, so I think so you saw this work.
This one was on your show in New York.
Yeah, that's right. It was actually shown a few times, but every time I got it back from, it was shown in The Hague on a museum show at KM21, and then also the Hayward Gallery. But every time I got it back into the studio, I would keep working on it, so it had to keep being photographed, because it was just very difficult to get it right and to get it to work spatially. And I had this idea to make another work, a mirror image, to take that mirror idea further and to make a mirror image of the work, and then with a suggestion of time passing. It's darker, it's night, the sort of absinthe green, everyone's a bit more kind of smashed, they're all drinking, and someone's been out and got a sunburn, so there's the moon's shifted, another cat's come in and gone. And it was exhibited like that, opposite one another. But that's how I painted it as well in the studio, and I found that very useful, actually, because I often, if I'm trying to solve something in a painting, will look at it in a mirror, because you can see, you just get a different perspective on things. And so I ended up working on them both in the studio at the same time and changing the original. I make these, I build up the works in layers of trace, and then I do a final tracing of those pieces of trace. And so I have a cartoon of these large compositions, and I transfer them with powder paper, and I can make almost the same composition, again, different versions, but try different things. And that's something that I do quite a bit as well. But the real revelation with this work was that when I was making it, it's life size, I was standing in front of it, and I had this sort of epiphany that what you're seeing behind the figures in the foreground is not sort of receding into the background, because it's a mirror reflection. It's actually they're actually in front of them, and in fact those figures are all in conversation in the round, facing one another in the sort of illusion of the mirror, and the viewer is then you realize you're not reflected in the mirror, and so you're sort of irrelevant to that conversation, you're invisible. And that's
an incredibly complex composition.
There are
the way that you handle that deep space and all the things that are going on, and the kind of relationship between the figures, and the figures looking at themselves in the mirror reflected, and the figure, the Helen Frankenthaler figure here on the left, pouring paint onto her canvas. It's such a rich image. And of course, the cat is there as well.
Yeah, and then there's another cat in this one.
Oh,
Another one.
I
17. But anyway, and then that door that was at the end of the thing, which is actually behind me in the space because it's a piece that I kept back in my own collection. And when I was making it, it was a second door that I was making, and as I was working it, the figures sort of evolved to be the two figures from the Felix Vallotton painting, The White and the Black, from 1913, which is a favorite painting, which is where the ice ship character came in the blue paintings. Anyway, I wanted it to be the thread, the sort of it sort of was the kind of beginning of a new idea, and so I wanted that to be the sort of entry point to the next kind of body of work, the next show. And this is how it was exhibited in Paris recently, last year. So you enter the space and she invited you in. It's the painting's painted on a door, so it's actually canvas stretch over a door, so it's door size. And then that idea of it, in a portal into which paintings often are, but this is a sort of literal example of that. And then there's a slow reveal of the painting behind, which is a reworking of the Felix Vallotton painting that I spoke of. Let me just show you that so you can see what the original looked like. I painted her originally sitting on the bed. I was going to do it exactly like the original, and I was just going to give her some paintbrushes in her hand and just do some very subtle tweaks, but then I felt it needed to be sort of developed more and in a way that would help move it into my own language as well, because it's very difficult working with an original work so closely, but then feeling that it's in your own language in some way too. So it pans out and it includes the strip screen that I've used before in works and the breeze blocks, and so which suggests a warmer climate, so it takes them elsewhere. And she is, yeah, she's the painter now, and the model has her flushed cheeks have become a full-blown sunburn. Yeah.
well, we just have a few minutes left before Q&A, so if we can just...
Yeah, so this one was based on the Manet. This is other versions of the show. This is another studio painting, which is has the Courbet Origin of the World on the ground, which is where that came from. Interestingly, also truncated and excluding the eyes in the way that I'd done with earlier works, which I found quite interesting. This is a reworking of Folie Bergère, and has various figures, some art historical ones. Really, it was actually made to be it was made initially, well, of course it has the Folie Bergère, and there are many references from that. It's kind of based on the structure of that painting, but it was also made on the occasion of showing an early work of mine last year at Sadie Cole's in London, where I showed that 1992 work and made this work in relation to that. And it was supposed that composition was supposed to be my very early work in conversation with recent work, but in an art historical context of the setting of a bar. And the show is called Bar Games, which is the name of that early work which you saw hanging in my studio in 92. So that kind of brings it full circle.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. That's been just extraordinary.
I'm just going to take it back to this painting.
Yes, let's just have another.
While we're talking, because I rushed through those. And did I rush through anything else? No, that's anyway. I think I'll leave it on that. Or what do you think, Sue?
I think we have some questions that people would like to ask, so I think we can just go to those.
Okay.
But I do think that, well, I can't mention where this painting is going, but I think it's going to be on public view quite soon.
Yeah, true.
Which will be wonderful, because I think it is what?
Yeah. Yes, true. So it can be seen at some point.
Yes.
Again. Was there anything else I rushed through too quickly? I mean, while you're looking at the questions, so I'll just go back over.
Well, I think it's interesting. I mean, when I look at that, your version of that painting, it reminds me of how women in the when was it, about the 70s and 80s, had those meetings in order to examine their own vaginas, which they had never seen before. And I love that shot of yours with the woman standing above a circular mirror, standing down, trying to paint it, trying to paint what she saw. I think, yeah, that one.
Yeah.
There she is, looking downwards and trying to paint the view that she's looking at.
Yeah.
In fact, she's managing to paint, if you look at the canvas that she's looking at, she's doing a fairly good representation of Courbet's painting.
Exactly. And then I actually ended up doing another work, which I didn't include because we had, way too many slides, but of they verified Courbet's head. So this painting was sort of obviously severely cropped and the head was, kind of decapitated, but they verified that it's hanging in the dorset. And I did a painting using the head, but changing her into an artist reflected in that mirror. Oh,
yes.
So it was, had an oval in it, but the idea that the women are their first audience and that they're authors of their own image is, an idea that's repeated many times and works in different ways. And also within the show in Paris, the sightlines were quite important, and there were images repeated themselves, such as the figure on the right-hand side here. She was, there she is on the left.
Yes.
So you looked across and you kind of saw these echoes throughout the show. So it was like they were kind of, moving in and out of different compositions in a sense.
Yeah, they're almost like actors or characters who occupy a number of spaces and can move in between quite freely.
Yeah.
I've got a question here that I want to ask. It's from Nancy Ann Miller. And she says, your figures of women have a real physical presence, but they also carry a deep sense of self-introspection. They own space, present themselves, but also have self-mystery. Is this duality in the figures intentional?
Yes, I would say it is. I mean, that's very well put. I don't know if I could say it any better than that, but I generally would like the work to have as much ambiguity as possible, because they're quite strong subjects anyway. And yeah, I just think that even though they're quite the message can be quite sort of strong. I want the figures and the paintings themselves to feel quite ambiguous, that you that they, I don't know if I'm even answering that, but yeah.
Well, I think you are, but you do have the self-mystery. I mean, your figures are often shielded in some way. They sometimes have masks on. So there isn't a feeling that at the same time as they're commanding their space, they're also, how should I say,
interior world, and they have a...
Yeah, they're not display. If they have an interior world, they're not giving themselves freely to the world.
Yeah.
They're holding themselves.
Yeah, I would say that they have some sense of privacy in terms of...
Yeah. Then we have another question, and I think we've actually talked about this already, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because you might like to add some more to it. And somebody says, I saw your great show in Paris, and I wondered what influenced your use of blue. I mean, you've talked about Reckitt's blue, but I wonder if there's anything else you'd like to say about it, about the color blue.
I mean, it's very nocturnal, and I yeah, a lot of the scenes are sort of night scenes. So I'm just trying to think exactly on the work in Paris. You know, in the drawings, like the in the upstairs space, there were all the work on trace, and there were drawings. That blue is not so. I mean, other than having that sort of nocturnal feel to it, it's also just for very practical reasons, because that's Prussian blue, not cobalt, so it doesn't have the same kind of very loud presence in a way that the cobalt paintings have, which are so kind of particular. This is more like yeah, more like it's sort of midnight blue, but it also dries very quickly. So in terms of doing, you know, when I'm those drawings are sort of part of the process of making the larger painting. So I'm not just doing drawings. Some of them end up being exhibited, but they also, I can make them, they can dry really quickly. I can work with them on top of each other in layers. It's the same with the large ones. So if it's that blue, but other blues in the work, just trying to think of the other works that had blue in them.
Well, I think you've answered it.
Yeah.
And then we've got one from Mia Darling. And Mia says, how often do you use live models?
I do use live models. I mean, I don't use live models to draw from real life, you know, life drawing, because I tend to work from flat images. So I photograph models quite a lot, actually. I have a group of friends that oblige, a group of sisters who often help me out in that way. And sometimes my partner has to do it if they're not available, and then I just sort of change him into a woman. But yeah, I do, because, you know, unless it's something I happen to have found, or it's an art historical reference, I'll quite often need something in particular, and then I'll get someone to pose for me, take photographs, and then draw from that. But life drawing is actually something I'd like to get into again, but it's a different thing.
Yes. This one is from Josie Grindrod, and Josie says, please, can you talk a little bit about Nancy Spiro and whether she's someone that you've looked at closely, the cast of women protagonists, cutout shapes repeated, and the relation between printing and painted surface is something I see between you.
I am, of course, aware of the work. I hadn't really thought of that as an influence directly, and I should look at the work more. I mean, is that what Josie's asking? If it's
yes, she's asking me if the you know, using a cast of women with cut out repeated shapes is something that you've noted that you have in common with or that you've been aware that you have in common with Nancy Spiro.
No, I'm not aware of, actually. I hadn't thought about that, but I'm now going to look at her with could have researched that.
All right.
Fine, thanks.
And then we've got Linda Friedlander asks, how do you explain the continual popularity of Manet's Olympia for women artists of today?
I think because it's still so contemporary, and it still feels so vital, and she's such a sort of modern woman. I mean, not modern as in modern art, but just as it's so contemporary. And I think it's her defiance and her sort of shameless gaze, and, you know, there's such an incredible painting, and as are many of Manet's paintings. And I think because they contain so many ideas that are so relevant to now, and sort of have been. Yeah, I think that's why he's, you know, probably my favorite painter. But I think it's her attitude and everything that she was, you know, shamed for at the time. She was really, you know, people went crazy about that painting. Manet was attacked. She was attacked. She was, you know, she was body shamed for having this sort of like not the kind of conventional body preference of the time, beauty standards. And so I think it still holds so much power, and that's why woman related, you know, or one or moved by it. And so many, you know, I'm certainly not the first to have responded to it. There are many artists that have responded to that painting, and as did Valiton. You know, he responded to it. But it's that interesting sort of call and response from artists. Manet was responding to Venus with a burner, and by Titian. And that kind of, I mean, that's what's so interesting, I think, about painting, which is something that only really struck me when I came to London, actually, and I kind of saw these works as being still so relevant. You know, I hadn't kind of, that was, anyway, that's why I think it's
Yes,
so important.
thank you. And all right, now this is just, which are the museums you return to and why?
I love the Courtauld. It's probably one of my favorite museums because of the scale. It's so intimate. It's like being in somebody's kind of living room or something. It's often not very full, and it just has an incredible collection. It has the Folies Bergère, so I was, you know, made multiple visits there, trying to learn things from the painting when I was doing my versions. Yeah, it's just a great museum. But the National Gallery in London, the Tate Britain, you know, I mean, those are museums that I'll return to a lot to see the permanent collections. Of course, I go to Tate Modern to see a show that might be on, but in terms of my own work or kind of research, I'll tend to go back to those. I mean, in London, I'm thinking, yeah, the d'Orsay in Paris is incredible. Yeah, I mean, Paris, well, so many
Well,
there.
thank you, Lisa. We've come to the end of our talk. It was, even for me, who knows you very well, it was really instructive, and I'm sure that our audience really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for all of it. And thank you, all of you who've tuned in to watch our presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. And to everyone else who's been here. Thanks very much.